this was a very busy Thursday. It's like the last good Thursday before everybody leaves town or has a graduation. So I want to thank everyone for coming, and just know that each person in this room, it would take too much time away from the program to thank everyone. There are some gap seats, so anything, and there's an open seat. I don't know why Stevie is down there, back there. Stevie, you're right here. Okay. Anyway, we got to herd him back to his family. So anyway, we have two wonderful tables of the Adler Tubes fan. They spread out, and we want to thank our friends from Lafayette who have driven here, and thank goodness it did not rain too hard. It just sprinkled on them. And we have Matt Stuller, and we have Chuck LaGrange, and we have Sarah Mary Matuk Tons Donlin. 5 names. I do not use them all. 5 names. And yesterday, I'm not going to talk long, but when I was picking up the programs, am I too loud? Am I yelling? Okay. Because this is like our only dress rehearsal, okay? So we hope it all runs well. So when I was picking up the programs, the girl that I buy the printing from, she said, well, you know, I've been there. I've been to Stuller's place. And I went, really? And because, I'm sorry, but I didn't know about you till 3 years ago, okay? And I said, why did you go to to the Stuller setting office? And she said, well, they taught classes there. And she said, and I don't know if they had a Stuller school. And she said, you might not know this about me, but I had a jewelry business and y'all had training. And she said, what was the most impressive at the end of the program, they had us bow our heads, and I don't know if y'all said that they are to concentrate on something personal or if y'all said a prayer, but she said when they raised their eyes that everybody in the company, and there are like, how many people in your company? 1,600, and she said all of them were there. So we're clapping for them who were in the room. And she said she will never forget that moment where she felt embraced and encouraged with her little business. And it was a powerful moment for her life. And the Stullers have come to Baton Rouge to give us best practices, what they've learned. Y'all have been he's been in the philanthropy side of it for 25 years with his foundation. But this blight and litter, y'all make 4 years in this? Okay, 4 years, and Clean Pelican makes 3. If we had known that they were doing all this in Lafayette, we would be Parish Proud, I can assure you. But we had to start it all, right, Johanna? We had to do it all, But when I've called them and asked for help, they have called and they have, gotten on the phone with us and coached us. And that's the collaboration. And I said, we need you. Baton Rouge needs you. We need to know what you're doing right. We need to know what you have, holes y'all have stepped in so we can prevent that. So that's where we are. And I didn't bring my program up, but I believe I have Cleo, Father Cleo, right? Okay, there's my program. All right, Father Cleo, he just said yes. And everybody in this room has just said yes when I've called. So I'm very humbled indeed. So please.
Very good. Thank you, Glenda. Wonderful. Well, what a great joy to be with everyone today. Mr. Stuller, I've never met you before. I have heard of your reputation, and it's that you like to get a lot of people into trash. A lot of trash talk today, but what an honor to be with you today, and an awesome group of people. So let us bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, at this beautiful midday hour, we pause to give you thanks and praise for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us each and every day. We thank you for the precious gift of our lives. We thank you for the gift of faith. We thank you for the gift of our families and for good and loyal friends. Heavenly Father, in a special way, we ask your blessing upon this awesome gathering of Clean Pelican and the Boo Grigsby Foundation Luncheon honoring Mr. Matt Stuller today for his sense of service, for his vision and philanthropy, for all the hard work and the founding of Parish Proud. In the book of Genesis, Lord, you created the world as a reflection of your glory. You made the stars and the moon, the land and the sea, and you called man and woman to be good stewards of all that you brought into being. This awesome gathering is reminded today of the task of respecting and honoring our communities and public spaces. Renew us in this work of enhancing and beautifying, creating and maintaining dignity and responsibility in transforming public spaces and fostering community pride. May you bless the food and the friendship and the conversations which we share today. Renew us in the work of Clean Pelican, and may this celebration today only increase our joy for your every good gift. May the Lord indeed bless the great state of Louisiana. May he bless the works of our hands and make our hearts like the mission of Clean Pelican, full of love and not the litter of sin and selfishness. For we are all true believers that cleanliness is next to godliness. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
So I'm so glad that Glenda mentioned saying yes, because that is how my whole journey with Clean Pelican started. I'm Laurie Adams. I'm Councilwoman for District 11, and 3 years and probably 2 or 3 months ago, I got a call from some ladies on a Saturday morning, and they said, we're tired of our city looking terrible. And these ladies said, we drive through the intersection of Jefferson and Essen every single day, and it just, there's trash everywhere, there's, broken bottles everywhere. Can we go clean it up? And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm a brand new council person. I don't know if I can give people permission to just go be out in the street. But I thought, well, nobody's getting in trouble for throwing it out there, so why should you get in trouble for picking it up? So I said, no, let's go. And they said, can we go now? And I said, yeah, sure. And I got some supplies, they got some supplies, and we all met out in the median on Essen Lane, and that's where everything began. And as this effort, as Glenda and Johanna and the rest of the volunteers continue to think through how we make our city the best place it can be, they realized, much to make my heart sing, that we needed to have kids and education a part of this as well. For those of you who know me, know I worked in schools for 17 years, and the next generation is very important to me. And so just a few weeks ago, some of my council colleagues are back there, and they can attest to this. We had some of the kids that are working alongside Clean Pelican come and give a presentation at the council, explain what they're doing through their research, and make policy recommendations to us, which is awesome. So all of this to say, this video is going to give you a better feel for what Clean Pelican is all about. Over the last couple decades, there's been a lot of research about the impact that litter, graffiti, and really just an unkempt city has on the residents. And it's pretty tremendous. Where there is graffiti, where there is litter, you find more crime, you find just less community, you have economic development issues.
Baton Rouge is a beautiful community, and we're very proud of it. After COVID, when the city did not have services and litter was everywhere, we decided that we had just had enough.
I decided to get involved. I've got my 2 sons out with me, and our city just needs to get cleaned up. We have all these corners and thoroughfares that are dirty. People are throwing trash on the streets, and it doesn't make our city look great. We do have a beautiful community. We just have to let it shine.
It just hurts everything. It makes a bad impression on the city. It looks like we don't care, we don't love our city. And this group out here loves this city and they want it to be beautiful.
One of the things you have to understand first when you're dealing with litter is, where is the litter coming from? So we know that every time that we engage on the litter issue, we train up the next generation, we encourage our current communities and neighborhoods to clean up and really take responsibility for the litter and blight in their area.
We have to invest in litter education with children, and we can't just keep picking it up. We have to educate them.
Working with Clean Pelican has been so fun. I've had the pleasure of being on board with the team from the very beginning. I'm so grateful to the Clean Pelican team and all the volunteers for the work they're doing.
And that's what we're all about with Clean Pelican, and we thank you for joining us and being a part of it.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Johanna Landreneau and I'm one of the co-founders of Clean Pelican. Glenda, 3 years ago in the middle of the pandemic, we were having kind of a little depressing time. And she and I sat down to drink some coffee and she was like, Johanna, let's start a group. Let's start a group. I was like, okay. She goes, you know about nonprofits? I was like, yeah, I do know a little bit about nonprofits. I know about, that. And I said, it's going to be a really fun, non-political, fun thing that is not going to ruffle any feathers. Little did we know what we were getting ourselves into. It's been a wild ride. It's been fun. It's been great along the way. The journey's been great. And thank you, Glenda, so much. When I look around this room, I see people out here that are like-minded, that I know each and every one of you share our mission to create and maintain a beautiful city. We want Baton Rouge to be the best. We are the capital. And to have a clean, beautiful city is a welcoming city. So thank you so much for coming, and we are looking, Matt, thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to hear his vision for a clean, beautiful city in Lafayette. So I, first of all, wanted to have each one of our board members stand up. If you're on the board, can you stand up? Clean Pelican board members. Okay, stay standing. If you have ever volunteered for Clean Pelican, stand up. Stand up. And if you have ever given of your treasure, if you've given a donation or sponsored, please stand up. I know who you are. I see a lot of people not standing up. Yeah, the shy ones, right. Very, very humble. Okay, so I have the distinct privilege to give out our third annual Clean Pelican Awards, and I wanted to tell you that we, in order to be a recipient of a Clean Pelican Award, we have an acronym CLEAN that we go by. So I'm going to go through the characteristics of these award recipients using the word CLEAN. So C is for challenger. These individuals challenge the people around them to be their best selves. They make everyone better. And without challengers, some of us will be satisfied with the status quo. Not so with these individuals. They make us better. L is for learners, lifelong learners. They are constantly seeking out the best way to find solutions to problems and to make the world a better place. E, I had 3 for this. I couldn't help it, sorry. Eager, energetic, and encouraging. The positive energy they bring to the table is infectious, and we need them. We need their eagerness and energy to convene and encourage and cheer us on to the finish line, holding us accountable to what we set out to do. Able. The recipient of this award should be someone who uses their abundant abilities and gifts to willingly and openly help the dear neighbor in our community. And last of all, noble. The recipient of this award is noble, someone who exemplifies high standards, has high moral principles, and shows unconditional love for our dear neighbor and fellow man here in Baton Rouge and beyond. So without further ado, so excited. Okay. The first person to get a Clean Pelican Award, this is a person who selflessly gives of herself to our community and to our city and to the dear neighbor. A person who has used her incredible talents and skills to create and run her own nonprofit that seeks to educate our youth and young professionals with 21st century skills and build them up so that they can excel and obtain a really good paying job and using their skills to make their communities a better place to live. A true visionary of our time who uses her time, talent, and treasure to pour out her gifts to make others shine. This person contacted us at the very beginning when we started out, and she introduced us to Parish Proud. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for her. So I just gave that away. Fran Harvey, come on up. The second Clean Pelican Award goes to a person who shared her vision of cleaning up our city and inspired me and Glenda to actually do something about it. She lit a spark and we caught on fire. A person who said yes to the very first litter pickup in the middle of Essen Lane. She has said yes so many times. Yes, I will be there on a Saturday to help 25 youth and volunteers go all over town and seek out blight. Yes, I'll be there at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, even if it's 100 degrees outside. And she smiled and laughed the entire time. She clearly and deliberately lives out the Clean Pelican mission on a daily basis and selflessly serves our city and loves the dear neighbor by serving as a Metro Councilwoman day after day and week after week to move the needle to make our city a great place to live. Laurie Adams, Councilwoman Laurie Adams. All right, next on our program is Matt Adler. Matt Adler, come on down. Matt is one of our first board members as well.
One of the originals
One
that
of
said
the
yes,
originals.
right? I think that's the theme today, is saying yes. And I'll never forget the moment when I moved back to Baton Rouge and I was at a garage sale in town and somebody grabs my arm and it's Glenda and says, Matt, we're picking up trash and you need to do it too. And we need young people. So I'm here to represent the young people, I think. I think that's my job. Well, they asked me to introduce a very special project that we've been working on for almost 6 months now, I think, since we had the idea, almost a year maybe. But before I do that, get into the project, I do want to thank my family who's here with me today, the people who instilled in me the special place that is Baton Rouge and why we want to do things like this. So I have my grandfather, Roland Toops here, our patriarch, Father Cleo, who I think we can call you part of the family now, that works. My uncle and aunt Stevie and Valerie Toops, and my parents Susie and Andy. So thank you guys for instilling that in me and making Baton Rouge a special place. So for me and my sisters, we understand what it means to grow up here in Baton Rouge, go to school here, now starting to have our own families here. And honestly, frankly, I had a lot of my memories growing up in this building here with a lot of privilege and access to things. So we've been given the gift and the responsibility to give back and to make sure our community, beyond just these walls and these beautiful grounds, have access to beautiful places as well. So I also had a really great opportunity to leave Baton Rouge for a few years for school and for some work. I have now learned of a new term that's coined called the boomerangers, those who leave and come back, right? So happy to be part of that group who has now officially come back. And now wanting to use my experience living out in crazy places like California and learning all the things that they do great and all the things that they don't do great and bringing that experience back here into Baton Rouge. So I'm very happy to be on the board. So thank you guys for that. Thank you all. So what I get to do is introduce to y'all to a fun project. We were there very thankful that Brown and Root accepted our application to a grant so that we could create a little bit of media and attention into what we're doing. So the basic of what we do at Clean Pelican, the first thing that they've been talking about is actually picking up trash. And over the last 3 years, picking up the litter off the ground, we have made a lot of mistakes. We have learned what does and doesn't work. We've learned how to wrangle the troops together. We've learned how to keep people organized. And we've learned that a big portion of what we do is safety and the people who come to join us. Just being very open and honest, we are walking the streets of Baton Rouge, and we need to make sure the people who come and join us do the right thing and represent us and themselves the right way. So I think my Turner Industries representatives will be very thankful that we created a safety video. Learn from the best. Safety's number one, right? All right, so they put me on the list as the chairman for this grant. However, I'm not going to take the responsibility or the credit for having written it. They just knew that I could do the follow-through and actually create the thing. So I'm going to read a quick excerpt from you guys so y'all understand what it is and why we did this thing. So in the grant, it says, there is a need for an online onboarding video that provides education about litter in Baton Rouge and a step-by-step guide about participating in a litter cleanup, as well as conducting self-litter cleanups that will provide much-needed resources for our community. Organizations, including businesses and civic organizations, as well as students eager to obtain service hours, can easily access this information about what to expect at a litter cleanup event, as well as the negative impacts of litter. The video will be a tool that can be shared and accessed